Excuse me. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Music of the Month. This is for the month of April in 2018. And we have quite a lot to go through, but before we do, I do want to get two albums out of the way that I couldn't really listen to. Those being Catacombs by Like a Storm and The Everlasting Shadow Where the Dust Fall. The first one, they had an album release party a couple of weeks ago and I thought that meant it was actually released, but I can't find it anywhere. And on the day that the new Dustfall album was supposed to come out, they had a really bad record label thing, so they have to find another one to release it through. So I have no idea. But without further ado, we're going to get through the albums of April because there were so many, and pretty much all of them were good. So let's do it. We started off with A Perfect Circle with Eat the Elephant. I enjoyed this album a lot more than most other people seem to. I thought it was a really, really nice. I'm not normally one who likes to, rag on about too much about the more abstract things, because I feel like that's more pretentious and douchey, and it would make me sound like I'm reviewing for NME, who, as you all know, I hate. But yeah, I actually thought the album was pretty good. A lot of critics did bash on it, and I can see why they have problems, but for my first A Perfect Circle album, I did quite enjoy it. There was just a lot of really weird elements that I enjoyed. I can't really explain it, because A Perfect Circle and Tool, extensively, are a really weird band, but they sound really cohesive here, and if you're looking for that kind of weirder alternative metal sound that Tool basically became the forefathers of, this album is really, really good to just kick off from there. So we had Black Stone Cherry with Family Tree. Really, really enjoyed this one a lot more than I was expecting to. I don't know what it is about Black Stone Cherry, but the last couple of albums have just been really, really good. There was this, there was Kentucky in 2016, there was Magic Mountain in 2014, there was Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea in 2011. All absolutely just fantastic. This one focuses more on the soul and blues of things, and it's a more cohesive sound. It's a bit easier to listen to than previous ones, but all those previous ones are still good. This one is some of their best work yet, I think. I don't know if it'll be in my personal top 10 of the year, but I just really, really like this album a whole lot more than I was expecting to. So, yeah, hats off to Black Stone Cherry for that. It was just really, really good. Nice to see them just, still enjoying themselves even after how long they've been around now. Next is Breaking Benjamin with Amber. Holy crap. It's very rare that I anticipate an album when I've listened to most of the songs from it already, because they release a lot of them as like samples and singles and stuff. But even listening to this entire album with half the songs already listened to, I still really loved this one. Holy shit. I honestly feel like this is Breaking Benjamin's best stuff ever. I've only listened to a couple of their albums. My first was Dear Agony, and then there was Dust Before Dawn in 2015. But yeah, Ember is it's just really, really, really fucking good. I can highly recommend it. It's their best stuff. It's extremely heavy, it's super memorable, it's balanced, it's produced wonderfully. Everything just came so into place. Don't be surprised if this is in my top 10 list of the year, because it is just that fucking good. Next up, we have Caliban with Elements. The first sort of dip in April, but even then it's still really, it's a pretty solid album. It wasn't easy for me to find at first, but when I did quite enjoy what I heard. I feel like this is some of Caliban's heaviest stuff in quite a while. And there are a lot of elements that actually do come into play and just make the album sound really good. There's really not a whole lot else I can say, except for the fact that the ending of the album was confusing, because the last two songs are actually re-recorded, redone versions of two previous songs, and so I count the actual closing title track as being the 12th one. I don't remember all the names right now, but there's 14 tracks in total, and the last two of those are actually like rehashes of previous songs, so I don't really count them. As good as they sound. But yeah, despite that weirdness, this is still ultimately a pretty decent, really, really good album. So yeah, pretty decent and really good. I just went there. Next we have another one that quite surprised me, Cancer Bats with The Spark That Moves. As someone who wasn't a huge fan of Cancer Bats before, I'd heard the Sabotage cover, but everyone has heard that. I love this one. It's probably because over time I've gotten more used to that style of music. But the Cancer Bats was always something I never thought I'd really get into. Then, of course, I listened to Every Time I Die in 2016, and their album of that year, Low Teens, was my third favourite album of 2016. So, Cancer Bats with The Spark That Moves. Holy crap, you impressed me. I have another Canadian band to look out for, because these guys have been around for a while. I know that now. I'm sorry I didn't get into them sooner. Just this album is really, really good. I loved it. Not really a whole lot else to say. Just solid hardcore, solid Canadian hardcore punk slash metal slash sludge metal. They include a lot of heavy genres, but it all works out and it's cohesive and just sounds nice and is produced well. Next we get probably the only really bad album in April, From Ashes to New with The Future. I don't know what it is, like, I wanted to like their first album, but there was just something that wasn't fully there for me to like it. And it's the same with this one. I feel like they're regressing a little bit. They sound a lot better when they're heavier. They really didn't focus on that. I think they have like a new vocalist now for this one. It's a new clean vocalist, if I remember correctly. Because the unclean vocalist slash main rapping person still does really well. There wasn't any rapping on this album, which kind of surprised me, especially considering how new metalcore is now a thing with bands like My Enemies Mine, Cane Hill, and Dead, all bringing that style like to the forefront now. I feel like From Ashes to New would have benefited from sounding a bit more like them, but still maintaining their own sound. It didn't really work for them, and The Future is not a fantastic album. It is good in places, though, especially the heavier parts of it, but it does need some work before it's like truly up there. So, sorry. Next we have Godsmack with When Legends Rise, just really solid heavy metal slash hard rock, really good sort of old school stuff as well, but made for, it's produced well enough where it would sound like something that came out this year, and it's a really good album. Like, everyone's performance is just great. Soliana is an absolutely fantastic vocalist. I think he's one of the best vocalists in modern rock, in my opinion, and it's just a really cool sounding album. It's balanced well enough in places, it slows down at the right times. It's just really, there's a lot to like. Not a lot of solos, but you know, we take what we can get. Just enjoyable. Next up is Hawk Nelson with Miracles. Once again, just solid work. I put this more in the decent category though, because Hawk Nelson, for me, they've kind of lost something now that, you know, ever since Jason Dunn left. But from what I understand, Jason Dunn has a new band whose name I forget, but I've heard a couple of their songs and they actually sound like Hawk Nelson should, which is like nice and happy and pop punky and not this slightly miserable but ultimately positive and uplifting pop. I don't know. I don't really know how to feel about the new Hawk Nelson. I know that like a different vocalist does necessitate a different sound, so it doesn't sound like the old stuff, but it just feels weird, especially considering that the vocalist was the guitarist of the band before Jason left. So that makes even less sense to me. But all in all, you know, it is enjoyable in places, and it's definitely better than The Future. So by From Ashes to New, so you know, something to enjoy. So we're going to pause for a minute because of how many albums there are. I'm going to scroll down a wee bit. And we're back, and we're almost 8 minutes in now. Next one is No Fun at All with Grit. For those not familiar with No Fun at All, they're a punk band from Sweden who've had a couple of breakups. This is their second or third reunion. I think it's their third. Oh, second. It's one of the two. And with Grit, they put out a really good piece of old school style punk. I just really like, you know, punk rock is basically my favourite genre anyway, and to have like a throwback to the old stuff but it's produced well enough where it sounds modern enough, it's a really good sound. It's just balanced well. I love the guitar solos in it. There's really good guitar solos, which is something that's underutilized in punk music in my opinion, so it's nice to hear more of them. I just really enjoyed this one. No lot else to say. And speaking of punk albums, the next one we have is Pennywise with Never Gonna Die. Another great punk album. I mean, Pennywise are no doubt veterans of the thing. My last album by them was All or Nothing by 2012 because I missed Yesterday's in 2014 because I'm a fool. But yeah, I just really liked Never Gonna Die, you know? Ultimately, between this and Grit by No Fun at All, this is the more traditional punk rock, heavier style album. It's a lot more faster paced in my opinion. But it's also really well produced, and everything just sort of sounds right. Sort of sounds a bit Bad Religion-y, but considering that Bad Religion are one of the best punk bands of all time, and one of the most successful, you could do a lot worse, basically. 3 more albums left. This video is running long enough. Next is Shields with Life in Exile, their debut. Holy crap. I really enjoyed this one. I didn't really think I was going to like it at first, then I listened to it, and it's one of those things where retrospectively I think I might listen to it again so I can enjoy it a bit more, because I really love this one. I mean, Shields, they're a band I've been meaning to watch out for a long time, especially with the story I'm about to tell you. So as people know, I did a Nice Nine Kills backtracking episode, and for their last album, the last song they released for that album, called Enjoy Your Slave, based on the book The Shining by Stephen King, featured a vocalist named Sam Kubrick, I think his name was, who is the grandson of Stanley Kubrick. And, he featured on that song, and Spencer Charter from Ice Nine Kills features on one of the songs on Life in Exile. So that's a really, really cool, just a very bro, nice thing to do. I really like that. And also, I just really like the album. It's really, really good. Furiously paced, goes in a lot of amazing places. It sounds a bit mathcore at times, but that's fine way. Maybe considering that, we've had another good mathcore album this year in Relics of Mos East, Time Will Die and Love Will Bury It, so I'm fine with that. I'm fine with mathcore. It's a perfectly fine, awesome genre. So, yeah. Next up is Big Things by Skindred. I wanted to enjoy this one a bit more than I actually did. I don't know, I feel like, they're missing that element of fun again. Well, that was kind of there. They're taking themselves a bit too seriously, in my opinion. Like, Kill the Pet was absolutely fantastically balanced. Volume, was okay. I wasn't the hugest fan of it. I thought it was good, but not great. I definitely like Big Things more than I like Volume. I just feel like there could have been more done with it, especially considering that the album cover is a really awesome dude in a cat mask and Benji Whip's spiked glasses. Also, sorry if you hear that weird sound, my cat is sleeping. I think I might be waking him up. Nice and asleep. But yeah, all in all, Big Things by Skindred could have been a little bit better. Also, I lied, I thought we had 3 albums left. Turns out we have 4. Well, 2 more now. Next is Underoath with Erase Me, my first Underoath album, and their first since their reunion/return. And I quite enjoyed it, but I do see everyone else's problem, because I've heard bits and bobs of Underoath, and I know that they can be heavier and a bit more better. They did sound a little bit laid back for this one, but considering that they've been out of the game for a few years now, not the longest period of time, they did still put out a really good one, like the vocal combination of Spencer, I think the lead singer's name is Spencer in this one, and Aaron Gillespie, if I remember correctly. Both of those just sounded really, really good together. There was a lot of really great chemistry. The production was awesome. It did need heavier moments, because some of my favourite songs from this one were heavier songs, and I know that Underoath does have the ability to make memorable stuff like that. But ultimately, it is a good album, and I can still find enjoyment in it, and hopefully you guys can too. And lastly, finally we're done with the albums. Sister Cities by the Wonder Years. You know what? I liked it. I liked it. I just feel like ever since The Greatest Generation, I've expected every album to be as good as that. And No Closer to Heaven, I wasn't the hugest fan of, but it's one of those things where I think back on it and it was okay. This one is better than No Closer to Heaven, because I'm starting to get more used to the new Wonder Years sound and focusing more on being alternative rock as opposed to being pop punk. And I can appreciate the Wonder Years wanting to change, and Sister Cities is a good album with some really, really good moments. I can recommend it at the end of the day. But I don't know, I just feel like there's something kind of missing, because it's the kind of shit that critics will throw like universal acclaim and 5 stars out of 5 things at, and I just don't really see that. It's good, don't get me wrong, it's good, and I do think it deserves some accolades, but it's not worth what everyone is throwing at it, personally. But it is still good, I can still recommend it, so if you can find it, go and listen to it. That's really all I can say. And that is finally it for the albums of April. I think there was roughly about 16 that I had to do. And so far for albums in May, there's at least 8, so that's going to be a much shorter video, unless there's other new stuff coming out soon that I just don't know about, because I haven't really looked at my bands in quite a bit, so yeah, I've got a lot of research to do, it seems. But I will see you all on Tuesday for the next episode of Backtracking, not Monday. I couldn't really get anything done yesterday because I had to eat food. So, yeah. Well, okay, 9 albums, because I just remembered I listened to one last night. But we'll get to that in June. So let's just end the video before it gets any stranger. My cat keeps snoring. It's kind of putting me off, at the same time he's cute. Little hero, my fluffy boy. Thank you for listening, you're awesome. Bye bye.